What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be looking at a potential build for Edge of Fate once it releases. It's going to be actually insane if this is possible to pull off. It's going to take a lot of work, but I think we can do it. So let's get into it. So first of all, what you're looking at right here is the armor stat planner from Mr. Engineer. If you don't have access to this, I will leave the link to this Reddit post in the description, and you can just click on this right here, hit click use template at the top right, make a copy, and then play with it yourself. So in order to do that, once you have this opened up, we can obviously see here we have a whole bunch of stuff to work with. It's going to go over all the armor archetypes, the stat distribution for current stuff. So what's my build that I'm doing? It is ability spam to the max with crazy damage and crazy energy gains. So how am I going to do that? So first of all, we're starting with the class item. Class item is going to be my Osmiomancy and Synthocept build class item with 2 font of restorations. Now these fonts are going to be crucial for the build. Now I believe this class item is going to turn into a Grenadier archetype once Edge of Fate rolls out because of the Osmiomancy perk, which is all about grenades, with a melee either secondary or tertiary. Not entirely sure how that's going to work, but I'm banking on it being Grenadier with a melee tertiary stat, and it's going to have so it's going to be the grenade and super bonuses right here. Um, anyway, so with that, let's get into the build. So with our helmet, we want Grenadier to be the archetype, and this is all tier 5 armor that we're looking for. So obviously this is not going to be a day 1 sort of scenario. This is going to be I'm going to grind for this and see how much fun it is. But we're looking at Grenadier with tertiary stat melee for helmet, and we're also looking at Grenadier with tertiary stat melee for arms. Now I'm going to go into what the tertiary stats and main armor stats are real quick. So when you get a roll of this archetype, you're going to have a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary stat. So tier 5's high rolls, primary is going to be 30, secondary is going to be 25, and tertiary is going to be 20 for a total of 75 stat distribution. So with that being said, so I'd have 30 grenade, 25 super, 20 melee, as you can see right here in these 3 boxes. And then, of course, on top of that, we have mods, but I'll get into mods in a minute. So then for chest, we want the Paragon, which is going to be super and melee focused with a tertiary grenade stat. So that's going to be your chest piece and your legs. Now, it is crucial that this is the distribution based on those slots have to be those rolls. I've looked into this. It's the only way possible. Now, as far as tuning goes, I'm going to throw that out the window. It's completely random. Tuning is only on tier 5s. So you can either, so let's say it's grenade, you can either bump your grenade and throw your health down. I might mess around with that. We'll see what happens. But for right now, as far as just keeping it the same, we're going to do lowest stats plus on all of them because the tier 2 does not have access to tuning. That is tier 5 only. Now, this is only tier 2 because it's an exotic, and exotics will be kept at tier 2 moving forward. So, that's with the stat distribution. So, tier 5s, looking at it right now with all the mods, let's actually go into mods real quick. So, for my helmet, I have a minor strength mod, and then I'm going to run 2 Font of Wisdoms and a Dynamo. Now, obviously, this is not the armor piece it will be on. These will all be on new armor. So, assuming these mods transfer over and just have a verb change. So instead of it being bonus intellect while you have any armor charge, it's bonus super while you have any armor charge. We'll see how those work. But anyway, we want a minor strength on the helmet, and then 2 fonts of wisdom and a dynamo. Now, the energy level will be 11 for tier 5s and tier 4s, but I don't know where else I could throw. We might have an extra slot here. If I have an extra slot there, I'll throw on like a Radiant Light or a Powerful Friends or something of that sort. Or maybe just a Harmonic Siphon for even more orb generation. And then gauntlets. We have 2 fonts of focus, a full strength mod. We will have an extra slot here, so we could possibly go with impact induction or momentum transfer, or we could go for focusing strike or bolstering detonation. So this would be for class ability gains with when you damage with a grenade and with a melee. Chest piece, you can do whatever you want here. It's going to be obviously a 10 strength melee mod, a bonus 3 melee as long as artifice armor stays the same and this does not cost energy. And then as far as resistances go, you can just tweak that to whatever activity you're doing. But the main one here is charged up, which increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. So that's real nice. And then also these can also be swapped out with reserves at any time needed, just because it's all 2 energy. And we will have a bonus energy, so you could tack on a harmonic resistance for whatever subclass you're running, or super. And then for legs, I'm leaving this open because I have 2 unused, so I can demonstrate once we get to 11 energy, we could slap on either elemental charge, so we get armor charge even better from not having orbs generation, or we can do restoration, which will picking up an orb grants a small amount of energy to your ability with the least energy, or we can just take that extra energy to slap on a weapon surge of some kind. So, and then for the class item, it's not gonna. I'm not bothering upgrading this for Artifice because it's gonna get changed into the new archetype. Artifice for the class items will not exist anymore. So, Font of Restoration times 2, and then Outreach reduces melee cooldown when using your class ability. So this is for the class cooldown. Font of Restoration is for recovery. Recovery is transferring to class. We'll get into that in a minute. So that's the mod setup. So let's look at this with base, without any armor charge whatsoever. So our health is at 30, our melee is at 146, grenades at 130, supers at 130, classes at 30, and weapons are at 30. That's pretty juiced. Now everyone's saying like, oh, but you're not going to have 200 stats. You're not going to have 200 stats. That's fine. When you have 3 stats, almost 4 stats over 100, I think that's pretty good. And those 3 main stats are going to be closer to the melee stats, not going to change. The melee is at 146 forever. That's unfortunate just based on mod capacity and what we're doing. But as far as grenade and super, these will be juiced. These will be so much higher. But where are we at currently? So health does not get a bonus. It will be at 21 health per orb with a 3% flinch resistance. Melee and grenade and super, all the cooldown scalars are capped out at 100 because we're over 100. So all the cooldown scalars for grenade, cooldown reduction is 66.7%, cooldown scalar is a 3, energy gained 190.2, that's accurate. The energy gain compared to now though is only 142.5. So it's 100, so it's a 42.5% bonus. Now, chunk energy gains like demolitionist perks and any energy recharge scalars, think Chrono Tempest, will now also be scaled by your stat investment. So 70 stat value is equivalent to pre-Edge of Fate. 70 plus provides more energy. So as long as you're at a 70 base stat, everything acts as it is now, but we will be way above that. So our melee, grenade, and super were at max energy gains, we're at max cooldowns. So those won't change. But what will change when we add these mods with armor charge is our damage increase bonus. So the melee is going to stay at 13.8% with that 146. If we somehow found a way to get 4 more melee points, it would be a 15% damage increase instead of the 13.8% when we got to 150. So grenade and super is going to be 19.5% and 13.5% damage increase. 19.5% for the grenade, 13.5% for the damage. This is at all times. This is without any armor charge. And then the class. I'm going to go over the class. The class cooldown and energy gained at base is what you see here. So energy gains is 20.9%. Cooldown is only 102.7%. So not like much faster or not slower. So It's slower than it would be currently before Edge of Fate, but it will ramp that. We'll find a way to ramp that up to where it's a little bit faster than current with armor mods. Let's go ahead and add the bonuses for armor charge. So we have the grenade bonus, which is 50 because of the 2 font of wisdoms, the super bonus, which is 50 because of the 2, and the class bonus, which is 50 because of the 2. Now these work scalarly. So one gives you 30 bonus energy or stats. They give stats. So it gives you a 30 stat bonus for 1, gives you a 50 stat bonus for 2, and then if you did go ahead and go 3, you'd get a 60 stat bonus. But the 60 stat bonus is basically already there once you add the general armor mod. We are now at 180 grenade, 180 super, and 80 class. So what does that change? That took our damage from our grenade to 52% in damage increase, down from like 19 or something like that. So it was 130 beforehand. So 130 grenade beforehand is a 19.5% damage increase. We went up to 180, which is a 52% damage increase. That is crazy. And then for melee, we did the same thing. No, melee did not do the same thing. For super, we did the same thing. We went from a super 130 is a 13.5% damage increase, while we went to a 36% damage increase. And then for class, we now have 131% damage energy gained and 157.4% cooldown scaler. This is a 13.4% faster energy gained than pre-Edge of Fate. I think this build could be the future. Like these mods I'm putting on are going to be the way. Do not forget about these mods. The font mods will be very good, especially if you're trying to get these crazy high builds. Now, I haven't gone for a 200 here with new armor. So this is all going to be new armor that is tier 5 and in the archetype system. So any old armor that you currently might be farming with the quote-unquote illegal rolls will only be tier 3. Keep that in mind. They will be tier 3 or lower. So tier 5 armor is the play. This energy gains right here is insane. We have 146 melee, 180 grenade, 180 super, and 80 class. And then we stay at 30 weapons and 30 health. So we're going to be spamming abilities, dealing crazy damage, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, I haven't decided on a super specifically for this build. I might do a Nova Bomb or Needle Storm build with that extra 36%. It is 36%? Yes, it is. That extra 36% bonus. But the main thing we're doing is Lightning Surge, Arcane Needle with Devour. Now, Devour is getting a slight nerf. It's not going to give you your full HP back. It's only going to give like 140 HP instead of 200, so it's going to need multiple procs, back-to-back kills, essentially when it's active, to give you that health benefit. But what we're looking at is the grenade energy. It also restores grenade energy, and that's going to be restoring grenade energy at a much faster rate than it currently is, because our energy gained from grenades is over 100, so it's going to be a 42.5% increase to what is currently happening. So this 142.5% is only a 42.5% increase to what we currently experience. So this is 100% of what we have now. This would be 142.5% of what we have now. So it's a 42.5% increase. That's still very good. Now, Storm Grenades getting a buff in Edge of Fate, dealing more damage. On top of that, we're going to be dealing more damage with our stat bonuses. And now, as far as weapons, you're like, now how are we getting orbs? Because we have no siphon mods, we have no firepower, we have no bomber, we have no firepower or heavy-handed. We've got nothing to generate orbs with abilities. That's where we have the Velocity Baton with attrition orbs, or any attrition orb weapon for that matter. I prefer this one just because it's going to be, I did not get a roll with demo and attrition orbs. Kind of sad about that, but it's going to be the attrition orb bonus. Now this is getting reduced by 80% come Edge of Fate, the activation time. But they've claimed it's not as noticeable as it sounds, but we shall see. So we might swap it out with a different weapon in terms of attrition orbs, something like this, or yeah, something like the auto rifle from Vesper with attrition orbs and jolting feedback. And then Monte Carlo, because Monte Carlo gives us reduced melee cooldown, and that's the one we're lacking in, really. I have not finished the Catalyst, but the Catalyst will also let this do insane damage, because it will stack with that melee bonus. So that's pretty much it for the build. Main takeaway is it's going to be possible to get over multiple stats close to 200 with this armor system and with these bonuses from the font armor mods. I don't know who's telling you don't focus on these abilities or focusing only weapons and super. The weapons is nice, but when we're not in a weapon encounter for a raid, or we're just doing general play where we're just running around slaying enemies and not having to worry about big boss damage, this build could be number one, if not will be number one. So with all that being said, again, shout out to Engineer for making this planner for us. I will leave his link in the description for his YouTube and also the link to the Reddit post so you can download this armor stat planner for yourself if you have not seen it yet. So with all that being said, thanks for tuning in. If you liked what you see, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what I can do next for you, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.